How do you manage to mess up this badly? Think about it. You had the biggest product launches in YouTube history, Prime and Feastables. Then, you follow them up with this. It turned into one of the most embarrassing failures the platform has ever seen. We're not just talking about a business collapse. We're talking about a lasting, permanent stain on the names of MrBeast, Logan Paul, and KSI. This was supposed to be the Avengers Assemble moment for YouTuber brands. You had three guys with a combined reach of over 400 million people, all promoting a single plastic tray of food. In October 2024, the excitement was everywhere. Logan and KSI had just succeeded with Prime, calling this new product Prime 2.0. They didn't just want to sell a drink anymore. They wanted to own the entire lunch hour. Jimmy MrBeast tweeted once and boom, 30 million views instantly. 30 million people were hooked before they even knew what the product was. The plan was simple. Maybe too simple. Just copy the Lunchables model, swap the juice for a bottle of Prime, add a Feastables bar, and claim it's healthier. And, of course, it worked. At least at first. Within 48 hours, Walmart shelves were cleared. Target stores even had waiting lists for a box of processed crackers and cheese. Think about that for a moment. On their podcast, they were already bragging about $100 million in pre-orders. They were discussing $1 billion valuation before a single kid had even taken a bite. They celebrated in grocery store freezers, making vlogs about disrupting the industry. But in their rush to profit, they overlooked the most basic rule of business. You can't disrupt an industry with a product that fails a fundamental test. Is it even safe? Nobody bothered to ask if kids actually needed mystery meat and electrolyte water in a box. They were way too busy, just chasing the next high in the algorithm. The people behind Lunchly used one word to sell it: healthy. They marketed it as a win for parents, a way to finally feel good about what they were feeding their kids instead of giving them the junk from Kraft Heinz. But then, reality hit. As soon as people saw those nutrition labels on Reddit and TikTok, the hype turned into a cold, hard backlash. Someone pointed out that the turkey stackers had 810 milligrams of sodium. Think about that for a second. That is 1/3 of what a kid should have in an entire single day. And it's all packed into one tiny snack box. Parents were shocked. But the doctors? They were even more upset. Experts like Dr. Mike and Dr. Brian Suturer saw right through the gimmick. Dr. Suturer called out the biggest lie of all, the idea that just because something has fewer calories, it's automatically good for you. In reality, Lunchly had so few calories, only 230 in some boxes, that a kid would have to eat almost 3 boxes just to feel full. And if they did that, they would be swallowing over 2,400 milligrams of sodium. That is absolutely insane. And then, Logan Paul made the infamous flavor crystals comment. When people pointed out the massive amount of salt, he didn't say he would fix it. He didn't show concern. Instead, he doubled down and made a joke. He called the salt flavor crystals. It was a moment of pure, blatant denial. It showed parents that the people behind Lunchly didn't actually care about their kids' health. They just wanted to protect their image. They claimed they were changing the game, but really, they were just selling the same old junk with a shinier coat of paint. Lunchly wasn't a revolution. It was just another tray of salt and empty promises. What started as a debate over calories quickly turned into a genuine public health nightmare. In December 2024, Consumer Reports, an organization that actually does things properly, ran independent lab tests on Lunchly kits bought right off the shelves. And the results? They were a total disaster for the founders. Every single kit, everyone they tested had lead in it. Some samples had as much as 6 parts per billion. Now, Logan and Jimmy were quick to say this was technically under the FDA limits, but ask any doctor. Ask any pediatrician. They will tell you the exact same thing. NO amount of lead is safe for a child's brain. Period. But it gets worse. They also found phthalates. These are plastic chemicals used to make containers flexible, and they are known hormone disruptors. We're talking about chemicals linked to developmental issues, and they're sitting right inside a box that's supposed to be a healthy lunch for your kids. Suddenly, that healthier claim didn't look true at all. The trio behind Lunchly spent millions on ads showing kids playing sports and chugging Prime. But what was really inside those plastic trays? Heavy metals, plastic residue. They weren't selling food. They were exploiting pester power. They wanted kids to beg their parents for Lunchly until they finally gave in. It's not a revolution, it's a trick. The biggest blow to Lunchly's reputation didn't come from a lab. It came from the cameras of the very people who made these guys famous, the YouTubers. The trio had mocked Lunchables for using cheese product. They bragged that Lunchly used real cheese. But here's the thing about real cheese, it spoils. And it spoils fast if your packaging is absolute trash. In January 2025, that real cheese revolution became a total nightmare. The internet was suddenly flooded with videos of fuzzy, green mold growing inside freshly opened boxes. Rosanna Pansino, a YouTube legend, posted a video that went nuclear. She opened a Lunchly kit that was still weeks away from its expiration date, only to find it covered in spores. Her reaction of pure disgust was shared millions of times. And she wasn't alone. Within days, hundreds of parents were posting the same thing. It wasn't just one bad box, it was a nationwide disaster. And how did the founders react? Did they apologize? Did they recall the product? No. Logan Paul went on his podcast and blamed moisture in the supply chain. He actually attacked Rosanna, calling her names for simply showing the mold that was already there. And MrBeast? He stayed silent for 9 days. 9 days of silence while kids were opening boxes of fungus. There was no official FDA recall. Instead, leaked emails from Walmart revealed a voluntary quality hold. That's corporate speak for, get this stuff off the shelves before we get sued. The real cheese pitch had officially turned into a tray of poison. They promised quality, but they delivered mold. They promised a revolution, but they delivered a health hazard. The failure of Lunchly wasn't just a mistake. It was the moment the untouchable YouTuber myth finally shattered. For years, MrBeast was the internet's golden boy, the guy who built wells and gave away houses. But the Lunchly disaster hit right as the cracks were already forming. Between the Beast Games controversies and the allegations from his past, people just weren't in the mood for another Trust Me marketing campaign. They saw a billionaire trying to sell kids salty crackers and moldy cheese, and for the first time, the audience didn't just watch. They fought back. The silence from the trio was deafening. While parents were posting photos of green mold, the founders were still talking about disrupting the industry. It felt hollow. It felt fake. And then there's the embarrassment factor. Watching 3 multimillionaires hide in grocery store freezers to film viral content while their product was literally rotting on shelves? That wasn't just bad marketing. It was humiliating. They weren't the creative good guys anymore. They were just corporate suits and hoodies, chasing a billion-dollar exit at the expense of their youngest fans. The MrBeast effect used to mean that anything he touched turned to gold. But with Lunchly, it turned to lead. It turned to mold. And most importantly, it turned into a loss of trust that they might never get back. They thought they were too big to fail, just because they had the followers. But they forgot one thing. Your fans might watch you for entertainment, but they won't follow you into a hospital ward. The era of blind loyalty? It is over. Lunchly wasn't just a bad product. It was a wake-up call for the entire internet. It proved that having 400 million subscribers doesn't make you special, and it definitely doesn't make you a nutrition expert. For years, we've been watching these famous people sell us things. First, it was merch. Then, it was drinks. And now, they're selling us the actual food our kids eat every single day. They told us they were on our side. They told us they were better than the big, faceless corporations. But when the truth came out, the lead, the insane salt levels, the green mold, we realized the truth. They aren't looking out for us. They are just billionaires in hoodies, staring at a spreadsheet and looking for a way to make more money. People are finally starting to see the truth. They're realizing that when someone says they're disrupting the industry, they might just be taking dangerous shortcuts. MrBeast, Logan Paul, and KS. I thought they could use their fans as a human shield. They thought if they just called it hater noise, the actual medical concerns and lab reports would just go away. They were wrong. You cannot algorithm your way out of a health crisis. You can't pretend a nightmare doesn't exist when it's rotting on the shelves. This is the end of the era of blind trust. From now on, when a YouTuber launches a life-changing product, people won't just look at the thumbnail. They'll be looking at the label. They'll be looking for the mold. They wanted to own the lunch hour, but instead, they just showed us exactly who they really are. And that is a stain that no amount of flavor crystals will ever wash away. If you want more deep dives into the biggest falls from grace, make sure to subscribe. Let me know in the comments what disaster I should cover next.